buck eating right in front of their door. I mean, in the lawn, just grazing on the grass. Nobody home.
All right.
See a car parked over there by the pavilion. It's sitting there.
Oh yeah, getting foxes.
That's Lou or Janice, one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they're waiting for the pizza to get
Yeah.
here.
Oh.
See, at our church, we have a foxes delivery site. That's what that pavilion is. You can eat at the pavilion, or you can go home. That's how that works.
Go home this kind of weather.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a little chilly now, but so
It's a little chilly today all day.
the wind was pretty low. It was pretty quick. Well, why don't we turn to 32? We'll sing a Christmas carol. We'll sing "Hark the Herald Angels Sing." I will try to refrain from making any comments about Harold and his angels, but we'll sing about them. So, all right. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Christ by highest heaven adored, Christ the everlasting Lord. Late in time, behold, he come, offspring of the Virgin's womb. Veiled in flesh, the Godhead see. Hail the incarnate deity, pleased as men with men to dwell. Jesus our Emmanuel. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Hail the heaven-born Prince of Peace, hail the Son of Righteousness. Light and life to all he brings, risen with healing in his wings. Mild he lays his glory by, born that man no more may die, born to raise the sons of earth, born to give them second birth. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. You know, as we sing that song, I love the end of that third verse. It tells us exactly why Jesus was born. You know, you wonder, well, why was he born? And he was born that man no more may die, and born to raise the sons of earth. You know, I think that's really the neat thing about Christmas carols. But I mean, it's just really neat that what God has done for us. And so, well, good evening. How are you? Good. We are, you guys, you don't know it, but you're guinea pigs. You didn't know that, did you?
Guinea pig.
You're guinea pigs. I got the camera up and running. I got it all sound set. It's the reason why I have the microphone on, is so that we can testing to see if you can actually do this live stream on the internet. I don't think you can, but we'll see. I was back there and I looked and it told me that I was unstable. I was like, I know that, but actually it was talking about the internet. So anyway, all right. Any updates we should have? I know, pray for Ken. He's not feeling well. So I pray for him, pray for Rod. Any other updates? I know Dale and Roxy have some activity going on down there. Why?
See a big pile of dirt in front of his house.
Getting all their doing a little bit of remodeling, huh? So good.
What about Dot? She's still over there?
I'm not sure about Dot. I have not heard how she is doing. You can continue to pray for our schools. They're going to be staying virtual for a couple more weeks at least, so, or at least another week.
School bus by every day.
Yeah. Well, the school K through 2, pre-K through 2 goes to school. They go to school. They do not have enough of devices. They've ordered them. They've been ordered since the beginning of the year. They have not come. So they don't have enough devices for those kids to stay at home. And so they go to school. The rest of the kids, they're able to go virtually. So that's why the buses you would see running. So.
Boy, Brooke could have had a bad accident. She went to sleep. Want to see her boyfriend.
Oh no!
Crossed over on the other side of the road with the guardrail.
Right.
On the opposite side.
Oh, okay. So.
Ended up on a Jeep.
Right.
That's what she did.
Well, good. So, Brooke.
The Lord was with her.
Yes.
Any cars coming or semis or anything else.
Good.
Hit this place where there was the guardrail where it was.
Right. Yeah. So, well, God looked out for her, and Brooke's accident wasn't too bad. Cars can be fixed.
Yeah, it's a factory new Jeep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Karen hit a gear once, a couple weeks.
Right. Yes, our Explorer is in the shop. After we got the car done, we thought we'd just get the front end of the Explorer done too. So
you're all fixed up now?
Well, it's still in the shop, but I believe they're making progress on it. So. Anything else? Pray for Sandy Dool's son-in-law's family and.
Whereabouts did they live?
Ohio.
Ohio?
Yeah, clear over on the west side.
Oh.
Almost into Indiana.
All right. Well, why don't you take your Bibles? We're going to go to Book of James, James chapter 1. You ever talk to somebody and ask them if they were religious? I don't ask that question, but I do get told from time to time that, people, well, I'm religious, and I don't say it, but I always wonder, I said, well, what does that mean to you? Religious. And Christians, we are of the Christian faith. And so we are determined to be in the eyes of a religion. And I would say this, that religion is not bad. because sometimes we make it out to be, well, religion is a bad thing. Well, religion is not a bad thing. But we need to know, what is God's definition of religion? I mean, what is that? Because religion has the connotation of an action, that you're doing something. You have different religions, and they have different beliefs and different practices. And so James is talking, and he's going down through here. And in chapter 1, he just talked about the fact that we need to be doers of the word. Doers of the word. And now he gets to verse 26 of James chapter 1. And I want to read these words. It says this: "Those who consider themselves religious and yet do not keep a tight rein on their tongue deceive themselves, and their religion is worthless." Now, understand here, as we read this, that some people get the idea that religion is bad. Well, and he says about religion being worthless. But notice here what James is trying to get across. He says, those who consider themselves religious. And so, if you ask people, are you religious? And there's a lot of people that say, yes, I'm religious. I'm a religious person. But you notice here, it says, yet they don't keep a tight rein on their tongue. And really what that is coming down to is that what they say does not meet what they do. What they do is different than what their belief system is. And so, well, are you a Christian? Sure. What does it look like? What do you do during the week? Well, whatever I want. And a lot of times in Christian circles, that can become the case, where we go to church on Sunday, we do the Christian thing, and then we go out on Monday, and nobody could tell that we were in church on Sunday. As a matter of fact, there might be some people, if they didn't know better, they might say that you probably ought to go to church. And I think that we all can fall into that from time to time. And hopefully as we move on in our Christian lives, we will begin to gravitate away from that. And we would actually be and do religion the way God wants us to do. But notice, so it says they consider themselves religious. Doesn't actually mean that they are religious. It's just that they have this consideration of themselves. And that really comes to the idea that not all people that say they're Christians are Christians. We'd like to believe that they are. But sometimes people will say, oh, I'm a Christian. I mean, imagine for a moment if you would look at the statistics of the census that asked how many, and different polls, how many Christians are there? How many percent of the population would say, I am a Christian? Now, wouldn't it be nice for us to have all those people in church? I mean, wouldn't it really? I mean, you think of how many people say, well, yeah, I'm a Christian. When's the last time you went to church? Oh, I haven't done that. And so there's a lot of people that affirm their belief, but it doesn't really what they do. And so when we see that, James is saying here, he says that type of religion, notice it says their tongues deceive themselves. They deceive themselves, and their religion is worthless. Now, here's the thing. I don't want to have a worthless religion, right? I mean, I don't want that. And as Christians, we need to be those people that do what we say we believe. I'm not here to say that we're going to be perfect. We're not. But we need to really take this into consideration and say that our religion, we sure hope it isn't worthless. So there can be worthless religion. And we're not just talking about other religious beliefs. And worthless sounds bad, and it is, because it's not worthwhile. Just because somebody says something, it doesn't mean that it's going to amount to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. And so religion can be worthless. But religion isn't all bad. Because go to verse 27. Verse 27 says this: religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this. Now, I want you to stop there and see this, that there is religion. There is action to believe that is good. Notice it says it's pure and faultless. That's the exact opposite of worthless. Worthless, there's absolutely no value. And we've come to a religion that God is saying there is a religion that's pure, that's faultless, that honors Him. So what is it? I think that, we look at this and say, what is the religion? What is the thing that God puts before us that we should be doing? Well, you look at it and it says this: to look after orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. Now, this is an interesting thing. When you think about all the things that make up a good Christian in most people's minds, I don't think that this is the first thing that comes to mind. Loving the least of these. That's really what God is saying. He says, what is the thing that is nearest and dearest to God's heart? The thing that is nearest and dearest to His heart is when we take care of those who cannot take care of themselves. An orphan and a widow. An orphan and a widow in that day, we have this idea that, well, if there's an orphan or something like that, they'll be taken care of by the state, or somebody's going to take care. In this case, in that day, there was no place for an orphan to go. And throughout a lot of our world, there's no places for orphans to go. They're on the streets. They live, there's no place for them to call home. There's nobody there to help teach them. They are just on their own. And, we live in such a wonderful country and a wonderful area that we do not recognize the need that orphans have. And then, there's orphans in our area, and, we can say, well, that problem is over there. But I would suggest to us that we need to understand that there are orphans here. There are children in places that are in difficult circumstances. And so we have that not just over there. And as Christians, we need to open our eyes to this. That God is telling us that what I want from you, the first thing is, He said, I want you to go to the least of these. And the reason that is so important to God is because that's exactly what He did for us. He went to the least of these. Now, I think of myself and I say, well, I'm pretty well off. I'm pretty good. I got the thing. And God came to us, and we are all the least of these. We were in a sinful condition, and He came to bring us salvation. And so religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is to look after orphans and widows in their distress. And really, it's interesting that is the first thing that James mentions. And so he mentions that, and then he follows that up with to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. What's he saying there? Well, really what he comes down to is this, that he says, I don't want the world to be a controlling influence in your life. It doesn't mean that you're going to withdraw from the world. You don't need to go to some monastery somewhere and hole up for the rest of, for life. That's not what God's plan was. He wants us to go into the world. He wants us to be in the world because, you can't look out for orphans and widows and not go into the world, right? Where are you going to find an orphan and a widow? You're going to find them in the world. You're going to find them in the streets. But he's saying, I don't want you to be polluted by it. I don't want you to, be dragged into the world's way of thinking. And the world's way of thinking, the reason he says that is because what is the world's way of thinking? The world's way of thinking really is take care of me. It's self-serving. That's really what it is. Yes, I see good people, and I see people that are kind and generous. But what is the motivation behind that? I would suggest to you that as believers, we have something so much different because God is telling us that I don't want you to serve self. I want you to serve others, just like Jesus did for us. And so we're to look after these orphans and widows in their distress and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world, because if we are polluted by the world, we're going to stop doing the exact things that we need to do. And so as a church and as Christians, we really need to be defined by that. Are we religious people? Are we religious? Well, religion never saved anybody. That is true, because Jesus is the only one that can save us, and a relationship with him is. But the outworking of that we would go into our world, that we would look after the least of these, and then to keep ourselves from being polluted by the world. So I just encourage us, as we go through this time of year, try to find some way to look out for the least of these. We all can. We all, there's always a way. You guys, we all can make a difference in the world, and I would encourage us to do that. Any thoughts before we go pray?
Well, I've always heard the phrase, I don't know where I heard it, but I always remember that we need to be insulated, not isolated.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, we can't withdraw. We're in the world.
Right, we can't withdraw from the world, because if we withdraw from it, who's going to share and take care of people? Who's going to share the gospel if we withdraw? That's a. So. All right, well, let's go pray.